Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Disturbed Penguin podcast. As always, this is Xavier Penguin. Oh, come on. Tablet, don't go on screensaver. Yes. Sorry, I'm recording using my phone. Again, I'm up at my work and oh, come on. No, I don't want that either. Just close. Urgh. The struggle is real with the Windows 10 tablet. Um, what? No, I am at my work and I've got my tablet that I use, and apparently it doesn't want to work for me. I mean, it does, but all I want it to do is just not go to screensaver. So that way I can look at my notes. Oh, well, it'd be fine. All I have to do is just tap the screen. Alright, so this might be a longer episode than normal. Just for the fact, and hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. Again, since I'm at work and all of that, if there is a customer to come by, or if the phone rings, I will pause it, and you might hear a little click or two from me pausing it, just as a precaution. But I was watching, last night after game night, because we have game nights on Tuesdays, where me and a group of friends will get together and we'll play some games. And last night, well, as of late, we've been on a World of WoW kick, Warlords of Draenor. Been on a kick on that. And after we got back, I sat down on my laptop at home and decided to see if I could find a stream to watch. Usually I'll have a stream playing in the background while I do other things, like maybe play more games, or get stuff ready for, the rest of my recording sessions, probably for tomorrow. Well, I tuned into Coestar's stream last night, and apparently one of the people that he normally plays with was having some issues, and that kind of hit a chord with me. Not having issues, but I mean just just having a certain thing happen to him, and it got me thinking, because I've never really talked about it myself and all of that. I am an open person to a point, with my friends. I'm like an open book, but to anyone else, it's like, man, I got to really know you before I start yapping at you and all of that jazz. So they got on the topic. Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But one of the topics that was discussed was roughly about feelings and how some things can be said about someone that can really get you down in the dirt. Really get you down in the dirt. And it just makes you feel like shit. I had something like that happened to me. But I think at all points, and kind of like what Coestar went through, I'm trying to remember the stream and trying to make a coherent thought, because I'm not the wax poetic I think I am. I know I'm not. I've got friends that that do the English grammar more justice than what I can do. But growing up, I was pretty naive. And I would probably attribute that to me being sheltered a little bit. All right, not a little bit, quite a bit. And there were a lot of things that I was not keen on that my schoolmates were keen on, you know. And it kind of messed around in my head until I actually came up here really for college. Now I'm 32 now. Came up here for college when I was 18. But even then, you know, I mean, I didn't have internet at home. I had internet at school, but that was mostly for browsing, homework, research. So I never really did have any access to internet, so I didn't know what was all out there. Nowadays, it's like, oh, well, hey, I don't know something. Pfft, let's look it up on Google. Let's see what the Googles find, you know, and all that jazz. So there were a lot of things that I didn't know, and so I was naive about the world itself, people in general, terminology. But I'm okay with that. You know, I mean, I don't give a shit. You know, if the way I grow, what, bleh. See, I don't know my English well. I can't speak it. No, I do not disagree with the way that I was raised. I thought I was raised pretty good. You know, I'm ornery as hell though, and I'm fine with that. Was raised to, I was raised in a church, and I don't fault myself for being raised that way. I don't fault my parents. I like I said, I believe I was raised proper. And as I've gotten older, I've started, you know, thinking for myself, and I think I've turned out, you know, pretty good, pretty decently, and all of that. Now, growing up, there were some things I'm not too fond of, which you'll hear about in a little bit. But I was naive to a lot of things. Um, the thing was, even though I was naive, I still belonged, you know, air quotes, belonged to quite a few of the groups that were in school. It was really weird. You know, while I was in high school, in kindergarten through 6th grade, you're not going to have any cliques. Why? You're too young and dumb to have them. I mean, that's just the way it is. Elementary school is to get you to junior high and high school, at least over here in the States. That's like, oh, okay, now you can start trying to be yourself, because that's when all the hormones and shit like that starts kicking in, and all of that. So I was like, okay, all right, well, it's about time. Well, as I was in junior high and high school, you know, I got to be part of quite a few groups. You know, I was part of the basketball team, so there were the jocks. And I got to hang with them. I was with what we call the beta club, which was like honor roll kind of deal. If you had good grades, you didn't get below a B plus, then you were on this club automatically. So I was part of that, and that was a school facilitated, not peer facilitated clique. You know, I was part of, depending on how I felt that day, I was part of the scrubby crew. Just not giving a fuck, just, whatever. I mean, kids nowadays would probably call them, they were the emo and goth kids, you know, growing up. I was kind of part of that crew because I knew people in it, and I understood where they were coming from. Now, I didn't listen to the music they listened to. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't make fun of them, as far as I know. And if any of my schoolmates are listening, and I did, I apologize, because that's a horrible thing for a person to do. Now, yeah, I'm kind of apologizing, you know, in the late game, but it's like, yeah. So, part of the emo-ish fuck off motorcycle. Uh, that's not a group. Part of the emo kids, um, part of that crew, because again, I knew people, I knew what they were going through. Part of the scrubs, which were people that really didn't belong in a group. Part of just the normal kids that didn't want to be associated with the preppies, or wow, that's Saved by the Bell reference. Part of the preppies or jocks or all of those groups. I was a little bit of everywhere. But even then, I was still naive, and that got me to be ridiculed a little bit. Um, and so I was picked on. Okay, fine. Now it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. But back then, oh, shut up, Windows. Shut up, I don't care. Sorry, I'm remoted into my home machine, and I've got sound on. It's like, come on. But I was bullied even whenever I was in elementary. Elementary and junior high were the times that I was kind of bullied because of my naivete. Like, I remember a couple of instances that really got me. One of them was actually on the school bus, and a lot of times, from my understanding, the school bus is one of the places where kids do get picked on. Now, as I grew older, I still rode the bus probably all the way up until I was sophomore, almost junior. I didn't have enough money to get a car or truck. Eventually I did, and I was able to drive my mom's car or drive my truck I had at the time. But I still rode the bus. But as I got older, I didn't pick on people on the bus because that's where I was picked on. And I remember this one kid. He was in junior high. And he made my life a living hell. I mean, granted, the first memory I have of this is, shit, I want to say probably first or second grade. And it happened throughout the entire fucking year. Sat in the front. Of course, at that time, whenever I got on the bus was pretty full. Apparently, they changed the route, and later on, we became the first house to, to get on the bus. So I got the choice of seats. Where did I sit? All the way in the back, because that's where the best seat was. Anyway, I was picked on. Had to sit by this kid the entire time. Called me an asshole. Called me stupid. Called me a mama's boy. Called me everything in the book that I can think of. And now I look back on it, I'm like, man, why would someone do that to someone younger than themselves? And it makes no sense to me. But regardless, it really made me feel small. Well, granted, I was small in stature, Again, first, second grade. But the way that kid just called me an asshole was such hate, such spitefulness, really hurt me as a kid. And yeah, I told my parents, told the bus driver, and that didn't stop. That didn't stop this kid from doing that. And that was very mean of him. Very mean. Now, I'm not going to say I'm better than he is, because I did my fair share of bullying in school, and I'll get to that in a second. And it's the only time that I can remember that I actually bullied someone. And it still haunts me to this day. But like I said, I'll get into that. Another time that I remember was back in elementary. Had this one cat. I mean, he was a big boy. I mean, not fat, but like husky tall. Like one of those people you don't want to meet at a bar because you just know that if you look at him the wrong way, he would just, punch your lights out. And I'm not naming names because you never know, some of my schoolmates might listen in on this, and I don't want them to feel bad. Hey, I'm a fantastic person right now. I mean, I feel great, I'm myself, but that's what we did as kids. We were really mean to each other. Really in a very bad way. I remember one time, I was probably in 5th or 6th grade. This one kid would just bully me. Him and his friend would bully me to death. I mean, he didn't punch me or push me around. It was more verbal bullying. And, of course, even verbal really just is not a good thing either. It's traumatic. It hurts. It hurts on an emotional level rather than a physical level. Like, I think I would have been fine if I got punched in the arm, stomach, whatever. That goes away. Emotional tends to stick. And at that time, he was actually bullying myself and another cat on the playground. And he would make me try to do pull-ups, try to make me do push-ups. And if I didn't do it, he was going to tell the teacher something outlandish that I didn't do, but it would have gotten me in enough trouble to get a whooping at school, to get my butt spanked at school. And you didn't want to get your butt spanked at school, because you know that as soon as you got your your ass beat at school, it was going to get beat when you got home by your parents. Because that's just how I was raised, which is fine. So I was forced to do all these things. Little did I know, again, me being naive, why would he do that? When I know myself that I didn't do it and I could have pleaded my case. What's up with that? Why didn't I fight back? Why didn't I stand up and be like, you know what, dude, fuck you? Well, I wouldn't have said that. I would not have said that at that time. But, why didn't I stand up for myself? Why didn't I go to someone and let them know, hey, I got this kid that's pushing me around? I guess it's because that I didn't want to get anyone else involved. I didn't want to put them with the burden that I had to go through. I didn't want to bother a person that had a higher authority to bother them, because they're teachers and they've got an important job of teaching us kids what to do, what to learn, how to be successful growing up. So I guess I really didn't tell anyone. And I just endured it. Now I'm thinking about all of this and recording it down, getting ready for, the podcast here. It's put me in a somber mood. Usually I'm happy-go-lucky. Ha-ha, penguin! That. What the fuck's wrong with me? that kind of thing. But I've been thinking about it. I thought about it hard and heavy last night after I watched Coestar's stream. And the guy that he was playing with, I hope he gets to feeling better about everything. And again, I'll explain here in a little bit. I did do my fair share of bullying, particularly to this one kid. And I feel bad about it. I really do. I mean, I think a lot of people were mean to him. And if I could find him this day, I would apologize. Because he didn't deserve it. He did not fucking deserve it. Now, even growing up, I was still a laid-back individual, not as much as what I am now. Put it to you that way. I let a lot of things go, but there were some things that just really got my goat, just really sent me off the deep end. One of them was this kid. He talked a lot of trash. And rightly so, because he was getting picked on. And I didn't help the cause at all. So while we were in gym, he had mouthed off. And I just kind of beat him into the ground. My schoolmates were cheering me on. I mean, we were in the locker room after PE, and I don't think I punched him, much less used my bag and just kind of beat him in the arms. And that got him on the ground, and I stopped. I can't remember the conversation. Can't remember what was actually said. I just remember this emotion that I had that really just sent me off the edge. And I just didn't want to hear him speak anymore because he was getting me mad. And I had told him, stop, please, and tried to be nice. I actually tried to be nice because I started to think about what was going on with him, what was actually going on with him doing the things that he was doing. Of course, he was getting picked on, bullied. I thought about it long and hard, and I tried to back off. But something was said, and I can't remember what it was. And again, this is probably 5th grade. And I beat him down with my gym bag. Now, I didn't have my shoes in it, so it was all bag and shirts and my gym shorts, because I still had my shoes on. I brought an extra pair to school. And I got him on the ground, beat him with my bag, and called it a day. And even to this day, it haunts me about what I did. Sorry about that. I had a couple of customers come in. But no, I feel bad, and it still haunts me to this day on what I did. And no one should have to go through that. And if there was a way that I could meet this individual, we'll call him Adam. If there's a way that I could meet him and apologize, whatever he did afterwards, I would gladly accept. Whatever punishment I deserved. Wouldn't press charges or anything because, well, hell, I had it coming. But bullying, it's a bad thing. It really is. It messes with your emotions, might mess with you physically depending on how bad the bullying takes place. The one that really got me, though, was whenever I was in junior high. Again, being naive in everything. You know, and all the hormones and things flaring about with the various cliques that were there at the school. I was in my, and I remember this vividly, because it was a turning point in my life. And even to this day, I still think about it, along with me bullying someone, as well as being bullied myself. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of these two events. And so, in my anatomy and physiology class, great class, teacher was fantastic. He was cool as hell. Mr. Bowles was his name. He was sick that day. So we had a substitute teacher come in, and we watched a movie based on the subject that we were talking about. Some people were watching it, some people weren't. Substitute teacher didn't care just so long as we were quiet. And it was cold that day. It was wintertime. I think my teacher may have gotten a cold, and that's why he didn't come in. But I'm sitting down. Now, in our room, we had these lab tables. If you think about... Think of the tables like in... Can't even think on how to describe these tables. They were big wooden cabinets that sat on the ground that were every bit of about maybe 4 foot long. And on the tabletop, it was 5 foot long. The table was probably, the tabletop was probably 5 by 3, like a really large index card. And the cabinet that held the tabletop was probably 4 by 2. So we had a place to sit at, stools and have a place where we could put our feet. And the cabinet held projects and things like that. So while we were there, and there were about 6 of them in this room. So we're sitting down, we're watching the movie. We're all on the ground sitting because the stools were not that comfortable. So we were all sitting on the ground watching TV. I had my coat on. I was cold. And these 2 people had whispered to me. I was like, "Hey, that girl over there, she's really cold, and she needs a coat. You need to go over there and give her your coat." I'm like, "Really? Who is this girl?" The girl I'm speaking about is already married, has had a couple of kids. Regardless of that, she's like, this one girl and guy that were, for lack of a better term, bullying me at that time. Only really on this day, and that was it. Said, "Hey, there's a girl over there that's cold. She's cold. She needs your coat. You might want to go over there and give it to her." So I'm thinking, "Oh, really? It's that girl? She's really pretty. I've been wanting to talk to her. This might be a good time to where I could try to talk to her and, maybe ask her out, say, hey, let's go out or something. I'd really thought that. So I went over and proceeded to try to talk to her. But she was, and it's not her fault at all. I mean, hell, hormones are raging during junior high, 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade. So I go over there and try to talk to her, and she's like, no, I'm fine. I don't need your coat, blah, blah, blah. But she was one of the girls that was one of the untouchables. Even though I went to church with her and her family, at school, she was one of the untouchable girls that you had to be kind of popular. You had to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, for some reason I think you had to be a jock or someone to even be considered to be in her presence. But at church where I was at, I was considered equal and we would do things, but school was a completely different story. Peace, whatever. I'm like, you don't want my coat? She's like, no, I don't need your coat. I'm okay. So I go back to where I was sitting at. And all this time I'm having to move quietly so that way the substitute teacher didn't notice what I was doing. And I go back, excuse me, I go back to these two people. And I'm like, she doesn't want my coat. You said that she was cold. And they're like, yeah, she's cold. You need to go over there and give her your coat. But she said no. I go, yeah. No, you really need to go over there. This happened about 3 or 4 times. And eventually, she said, just get away from me. Don't talk to me. I don't want you near me. Under the pretenses, I was told that this girl liked me. That gave me false hope. And then I realized what these two did. They were bored and wanted to have fun with someone, and I was their target. So I broke down. There wasn't anything else I could do. Couldn't tell the substitute teacher. She was just there to make sure we didn't get rowdy. That teacher didn't care if we did work or not, just so long as we were quiet, we did what we were told, and that was it. Or at least I thought. I don't think about it like that way now, but substitute teachers are a good thing. Don't get me wrong. They are needed. But that happened to me. Now, some of you might think, oh, well, poor Penguin, he was so stupid and naive about the world, and he should have realized that, these two were picking on him and should have done something about it. He should have stood up for himself. Well, yeah, no. At that time in my life, I was pretty much a wuss. A pussy, if you will. I'm not afraid to admit that. Shit, I don't care. But at that time I was. And I was the type of person that just had I wore my feelings on my shirt. Or however the hell that phrase goes. My emotions were a part of me. I mean, they still are, to a degree. But at that time, it was... Oh, shit. Hold up. Oh. Oh, my my goodness. I am so dumb. You guys probably can't even hear me. If you can, it's very faint. I forgot to turn the open sign on. Alright, hold up. You got a customer coming in. 1 second. And again, sorry about that. Had a customer come through. But like I was saying before, I just felt devastated. I broke down after what was being said to me about this one girl's supposedly, air quotes, liking me. And I just broke down at the end of class. Now, the neat thing was that since it was anatomy physiology, my next class was physiology. Anatomy the first period and then physiology the second, but not all the students had physiology. Except for the girl that was one of the ones that was teasing me. And like I said, some of you might be thinking, oh, well, poor Penguin, blah, 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 blah. He got what he deserved. And rightly so. Again, because I was naive. But then again, not. My feelings were, since I basically displayed my feelings all over the place, I did not care who I shared them with. Some people took advantage of that. And it killed me. Well, not killed me, not in the literal sense, but it just taught me at that point to just basically put up a wall. And don't let anyone in unless they're worthy of hanging with you. And so that has really, that was a turning point in my life that had really messed me up. And it messed me up to a point that later on that week, for some reason, it got stuck in my head to really pursue this one girl that, the one that was supposedly cold, to try to keep talking at her, to try to get her on my side, to try to get her to be my girlfriend, to be with me, because I am a nice guy. Well, at least I thought so at the time. I still think I'm a nice guy. And it got to a point where I had written her a letter, hey, I think you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're smart, as best as I could in 7th and 8th grade. English is still not our strong suit. And in a way, by me trying to pursue her, I bullied her. It's like, as I was thinking about this last night, on what to talk about today, I'm like, damn, I'm a horrible person for doing that back in school. I didn't mean to bully her, really didn't. I just cared deeply, or I thought I cared deeply. And apparently she's like, don't ever talk to me again, blah, blah, blah. Get away from me. I think you're ugly. You're not my type. And again, some of those kind of hit home. And even when we went to church, she stayed her distance. I'm like, all right. Later on that week, we had our anatomy physiology class again. And I broke down again. Now, the first time I broke down after said event, it was more of a silent breakdown. Just kind of kept to myself. Still had tears flowing through my eyes like friggin' Niagara Falls. But I arrived early to class. No one was there. But the one girl that was with the guy that was bothering me, we'll say Mel is her name. She saw that I was crying, and I couldn't stop. She goes, Penguin, what's going on? What's wrong? Are you all right? I go, no, I'm not okay. My feelings were trampled a few days ago. And it all started with you and this other guy that was trying to get me to do whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I looked in her eyes when I said that, and her eyes got wide. As if, holy shit, I did something wrong. And I proceeded just to rant to her that my feelings were hurt. I feel, yay big, Here I am, I'm messaging with my fingers like, ooh, I'm about this big. You guys can't see it? What's wrong with me? And that just got me to bawling more. Why would someone do that? Etc., etc. And at that point, I had told her, I go, yeah, you know what? What you guys did to me made me feel like Steve Urkel. Now, for those who don't know, Steve Urkel is a character on an older 90s sitcom called Family Matters. He was the nerdy, geeky kid that had the catchphrase of, did I do that? Love cheese. Anything geeky, nerdy, computer, chemical related, he enjoyed, he liked. That was him. At that point in my life, I felt like him because there was a few times in the episodes that his feelings were toyed with. And then she started crying because she realized what she'd done. And she apologized profusely, which me at the time, I forgave instantly. Forgive and forget is usually the way I go. And at that time, I was. That's what I did. Someone asks forgiveness, you should forgive them. And I did. But she started crying along with me. And after that, we were cool. Tried asking her out. She was interested in someone else, and she let me down nice. So that was cool. I didn't have a girlfriend growing up. So I just felt horrible. Feelings were crushed. I did not feel good about myself at that point in time in school. And that was a point in my life that I said, fuck it. I think I thought it. I didn't think I actually said it. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. If a girl wants me for me, cool. I'm going to be myself. And if they can't hang, then I don't need to be with them. And that has stuck with me ever since, junior high. Now, granted, I have me a woman. And yes, I call her my woman, not as of a, holy cow, you're a man's man. Woman should stay in kitchen, barefoot, pregnant, making food for the man. Not like that. No, I call her my woman because, well, she's mine. And I mean that in a very affectionate way, not as a possessive way. I may be a little possessive, but more of an affectionary term than anything. been with her for 11 years. I think I can get away with that, So I've got me a woman, and she has stuck through with me, and she took me for myself. So that's awesome. But I basically said, fuck it. If someone wants me for me, if they can take everything that I am because of who I am, what I do, how I act, then that person is worthy of being near me. And I have done that ever since junior high, like I said before. And it still holds true to this day. If you can't hang with me with the way that I act or feel or talk or do whatever, you're not going to be with me, friend or not. And I told myself at that point that I'm not going to do what they did to me, and I'm not going to do what I did to one person. Those two events changed my life, and hopefully for the better. Yes, I can be a dick. I can be I guess, a douchebag or an asshole. But it's all out of fun, and the other person knows that it's all out of fun. And it's a mutual ribbing on each other. I don't go out like, hey dude, you're a fat fuck. Why don't you go lose some weight, fatty McFatterson? I'm not like that. Seeing a guy come out of a gym that's sweating his ass off, and he has a little bit of weight on him. No, I'm not like that. Now, if it's with my friends, most of the time, whenever we make fun of each other, it's all out of fun because we know we're not serious. But I'm hoping that those two events have changed my life for the better, to try not to bully or make fun of a random person's emotions or how they're feeling or how they look, regardless of religion, race, sex, color, gender, persuasion. I hope I'm not like that. I don't want to be, because it's just not right. But it really got me. See, in my life, I don't give a fuck. Pardon the language, I really don't. I mean, right now with my podcast, that maybe a few people listen to, which again, this is mostly for me to fill up a slot in my week on a bi-weekly basis, and for me to just rant and just talk about whatever the fuck I want. So this is just me being me. Now my recordings, depending on the game, I'm a little apprehensive on using certain words because, like my Thursday game that I play, Guruman, A Monstrous Adventure, I try to keep the language toned down because that looks like a little kid's game that a kid could pick up and play. And I want to be able to have pretty decent language. My Saturday game, Blade Kitten, maybe along the same lines, but maybe a word or two every once in a while. Archibald's Adventures, that's more of a kid's game. It's a nice real puzzle game. Fantastic. Well, that's Wednesdays, again. Saturday is Thursday, Gurman, Friday, Blade Kitten. Saturday, I was doing a Minecraft. I'm trying to get that back up and running. Sunday is my Shantae Risky's Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. So I try to keep language to a minimum. Monday, bingo. Anything can happen. I try, but if I get blown up by a creeper unexpectedly, there's going to be a fuck thrown out there. Or shit. Then Tuesday is my XP plays games, and then it all circles back around. So I try to keep my language there to a minimum. I'm still myself, but I replace words and things like that. But on my podcast, I say whatever the hell I want, because this is me we're talking about. And a lot of times it deals with me or something that has gone on. I am myself. What you are listening here, that's me. in its purest form. And that can't be taken away from me. So if you were to meet me in real life, say I have one of my followers, one of my subscribers to YouTube or Twitter were to meet me. I'm like, yeah, I know you. I'm this person. I follow you on blah, 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 whatever. Oh, hey, what's up, man? I would talk to them the same way I'm talking to you now. Be real. I'm not going to try to be fake. Frankly, that's bullshit that someone has to do it. I've had to recently unfollow some YouTubers that were great in the past, but to me have kind of either sold out, have completely changed, and are not them true selves. At least what I believe to be their true self. If that was themselves all along, then they should have started out like that. But since that change has happened, I don't follow said individuals anymore on Twitter or on YouTube. I'm not going to get into names. I'm not going to mention anyone. Regardless, let me take a drink of soda. I've been talking for about 50 minutes, almost 52 minutes. Hopefully this comes out pretty good on my recording. Because right now I'm just talking to myself. I'm trying not to speak too loud, but trying to be comfortable while I'm speaking. I usually let stuff roll off my back. I could care less what a person thinks. This is what I've said basically ever since junior high. I don't care. Hey, if you got something to say, just say it. Okay, it may hurt my feelings just a tad, but I get over it. Whatever. Fuck off. I'm not going to see you again. I'm not going to talk to you again. I don't care. Now, that does not mean I'm someone that's under depression, like, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that. It's just, frankly, I could give a rat's ass what people think. I make fun of myself. Now, people might think that's, self-deprecation or anything like that. I think of it as a punchline. If I can make someone laugh, and either because of my own stupidity or the way I look or the way I act, and it gets that person to laugh and feel a little bit better about their lives, I am all for it. I am all for making a person laugh. Regardless of what is said or done, whatever. To me, I love to laugh. I mean, you've heard me laugh on some of my videos, but I can't really laugh as loud as I want because I don't want to interrupt my woman while she's playing a game or doing whatever. Because a lot of times I'm recording while she's playing a game whenever she's in the same room. And she's going to look at me and be like, what the hell, Penguin? What's going on? I don't want to disturb her. So, I mean, you do hear me a good heartily chuckle. But get me wound up, and I will just laugh, probably cough my lungs out. Get that hearty laugh. I get told I laugh like an old man. That I'm very wheezy whenever I laugh. I just think that's funny. I love to laugh. I laugh at some of the stupidest jokes, especially dad jokes. Love those jokes. But it's, if I can make a person laugh, if they're sad, if they are depressed, or anything like that, I want to make them laugh. And I think by doing so, I think I've kind of cheered up themselves. I think I may have brightened their mood a little bit. And if you can get someone to laugh, especially in that time of need, usually they open up, tell you what's wrong. And then now I have a possibility of trying to help someone, rather. That being said, earlier this year, or late last year, I think it was earlier this year. Yeah. I had tried to do a a marathon of sorts, a fundraiser for Child's Play charity. We got donations, wasn't the amount that I wanted, but regardless, we still got donations into Child's Play charity, and that's what counts. That's what matters. And again, Child's Play charity is a charity that gets books, toys, and games to kids in hospitals around the world. You can find them at childsplaycharity.org. Now, I tried to get this organized, and I thought I was doing pretty good. And I had decided that I would put my face out there on a webcam. Got myself all shaved up. Right now, I'm scraggly as a motherfucker. I've got a beard going on. I've got my goatee. I look like a freaking caveman. I need a shave bad. Let's just put it to you that way. And put my face out there, nice, clean shaven, had my headset on, had my webcam on my face while I played, and everything was going fine and dandy, and I got some trolls. Okay, no problem. But as I'm playing the game, I have the chat open, so that way I can read chat and try to talk with people while I'm playing. And I get told that, and I don't like saying this word, I really don't, because it just sounds so derogatory, kind of like the N-word. I know other black people, they will say the N-word like it's water, and they just use it all the time. Some black people, I'm not going to say all, and they can get away with it, but me being a very white individual, a ginger as well, I don't think I could say that word and survive. Even if it was in passing, no, I don't think I would be able to survive. The next word I'm about to say is on that same line as the N-word. That, me personally, I don't like that word. It's just too derogatory. It just sounds mean, filled with hate, spitefulness. I don't like that word. To me, this next word is along those same lines, and I'm only going to say it in the context that it was said to me. So as I'm playing Minecraft, trolls came in. I tried to ban them as quickly as I could, because what they said hurt my feelings. I'm over it now. But they're like, why would anyone let a ginger faggot like you raise money for charity? You look like a faggot pedo. I'm like, no, I don't look like a pedophile. Why would you even say something like that? What would convince you to say that I look like that? I'm not a faggot. Again, I hate that word. I'm not that kind of individual. I'm very straight-laced. Pardon me, but I like the pussy too much. Why would you say something like that? What would convince you as a human being to get online and tell me that I look like a pedophile? Why would you degrade me to such a way that at that point in time, I almost quit the stream. I almost did while I was playing. I got a ration of shit from some random internet trolls that talked about me and my appearance. That bothered me. Now, why did it bother me so? Even though I'm like, well, I don't give a shit what people think. I could care less what people think. But yet, people online told me that. And now I felt bad. That makes no sense to my brain. With the way I think, the way I act, it makes no damn sense. If my attitude is I don't care what people think, say what you want, your opinion means shit to me, because you're not one of, one, my friends, two, people I care about, three, people I love. You're not in that group. Who gives a fuck what you think? Who cares? I don't give a shit. But yet, as I'm playing this game, trying to do something good for a charity, I get these internet trolls that come on and say all of those things. Oh, you're just a fat fuck that's a pedophile. You're playing this game trying to get money for kids that blah, and just a tirade. And that affected me. When, in my opinion, with the way I just told you how I think, shouldn't have. I guess it was because of something that I was putting myself out there again. The same damn thing that happened to me whenever I was in junior high. When, again, hormones raging all over the place, and I wore my heart on my sleeve. That's the quote. Wore my heart on my sleeve, and I put myself out there, and it affected me to the way I am today. So I did something brand new during this marathon, or this, not marathon, but this charity live stream that I tried to set up. I put myself out there. I put my face out there. Hey, people saw it. Oh, you look like a pedophile. Oh, you look like a faggot. Oh, you look like a fatty McFatterson. Ooh, you're ugly. Ooh, why would you put your face on the internet? Why would you stream? You should go die. Was roughly what was said to me. And like I said, at that point, I almost said, you know what, fuck it, stream's over. I can't take it. And at that point, if I did, the trolls would have won. And instead, I took a break and recollected myself. Now, I didn't cry. Desperately wanted to, because that was horrible. Why would people do that on the internet? Why would people that are the same flesh and blood as you and me want to be all, you know, quote unquote badass on the internet and try to put someone down? What gets it into these people's minds to do such a thing? After the break, I came back and I proceeded on with my 8-hour live stream that I tried to do. Completed all 8 hours. Fantastic. Raised a little money for Child's Play. I call it a success. It would have been a bigger success if I met my goal, but you know what? I helped out kids. By not only myself donating, but by other people that were watching the stream that donated as well. We helped raise money to help kids out in hospitals around the world. We got to do that. So that's the redeeming aspect of my live stream I did a while back, earlier this year. That made me feel good. What was said to me did not. So after listening to the live stream that I heard last night, it got me thinking about today. It got me thinking about things that happened to me, things that I did to someone, things about how people think and react. And I realize that bullying is a bad thing. Granted, I got through it. I even did a little of it. And again, I still feel horrible about it. Every once in a while, I want to try to find this Adam character and try to meet up with him and apologize to him profusely because of what I did that one particular day. Now, after that day, he didn't mess with me, and we were okay. We talked. I mean, we interacted and things like that, but he wasn't the same. And I feel to blame for that. And right now, I'm getting a little teary-eyed, if you can't tell in my voice, about this. If there was a way I could meet up with him and apologize to him, and if he punched me in the face because of what I did, fuck, I deserved it. But bullying is a bad thing. What makes a person want to bully someone? What makes a person to verbally abuse someone? Yes, verbal abuse is a form of bullying. What makes a person want to get on the internet and just pester the shit out of someone, whether it be through voice, through text, on the internet? That's cyberbullying. Hey dude, you're a little punk ass kid, you should go and kill yourself because you're so fat and lonely. Or some stupid shit like that. It happens. I haven't gotten that part yet. Surprised I haven't. But it's a serious topic of conversation. I knew that this particular podcast that I'm doing would be a very long one. I'm already at an hour and 6 minutes in, talking about what happened to me, what I did, my feelings through the entire thing. Being bullied is a horrible feeling. It makes you feel like shit. There are some places online that talk about bullying and how some sites are like, well, hey, if you're being bullied, stand up and defend yourself. Oh, sure. That's going to work in every situation. What if I went up to the cat that was making me do pull-ups and push-ups? I was a scrawny kid. Now I'm a little rotund, but back then I was scrawny. What if I went up to him and said, no, I'm not doing any more of your push-ups? What would happen to me when he was at least 3 times my size, husky, tall? I would have been pushed around completely. I would have been pushed around more so than what I was. I may have been abused. I may have been beaten. I don't know that, but that's a possibility. I mean, there's always that possibility where, David beats Goliath, where I would stand up to said bully, and bully would back down. But when does that happen, though? That usually only happens in movies. Where in reality, it seems to me, and again, I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong. And if I am, let me know. Put it in the comments. Let's have a discussion about this. Because I'm very interested to hear what you people have to say. Especially what after I did to someone and what people have done to me. And again, I'm not happy about it. That normally doesn't happen in real life. At least, that's what I think. Again, I might be completely wrong. But that being said, oh, come on, tablet, just work. Oh, for fuck's sake. Just, fine. I'll just go on my browser on the laptop. Alright. There's a website I stumbled across yesterday. Well, early this morning as I'm typing up notes. Regarding this. Regarding bullying. And I think it's good. The website that I will endorse, and it'll be popped up here on the screen while I'm talking about this, is stopbullying.gov, G-O-V. It's a government-run website. Not anyone can get a .gov domain. You have to be part of the American government, or the United States government, rather. And there are things that kids, teens, parents, educators can do about bullying. And there's all kinds of information here. About what you can do if you're being bullied. And I kind of wish that this was around back then, because it may have helped me out a little bit. But again, it probably wasn't as rampant as it is today. Now, I just chalk it up to a hard knock life. All right. In my opinion, I had a great life, but it wasn't the best as what I thought my friends' lives were. Granted, I love my mom and dad. I love the way I was raised. After coming up here, living on my own, I started thinking for myself. I still think I had a good childhood, but there are things that could have changed. And that's always in retrospect. There are things that people can do about being bullied. And on one of the sections here on their website is to treat everyone with respect. I fully endorse that. Hey, if I'm being an asshole to you, you be an asshole right back, because, hey, I deserved it. Hey, I'm being nice to you. You be nice to me. Hey, be truthful to me, and I'll be truthful to you. Basically, stop and think before you say or do something that could hurt someone. Always have an adult you trust. So in case something is going wrong, you can go to said adult and let them know what's happening. Everyone's going to be different. Not better or worse, just different. Different in a good way. Different in a way that's unique and exciting. Just because someone's different does not mean that you can bully them. There's all kinds of things that can be done. If you go to the website that should still be displayed on the screen, stopbullying.gov, go read. Prepare yourself as being, say, a trusted adult, that someone can come to you so you can help them out. Be there for your fellow man. Yes, even in today's workplace, even at my age of 32, you can still be bullied while as an adult. It sounds dumb as hell and very silly, but it can be done. An adult can still be bullied. It just doesn't really get reported because people mostly focus on the children, to the kids. And you know what? Anyone can be bullied. Anyone can. Being a bully does not restrict you from whatever age, sex, religion, race, color, gender orientation. Being a bully or being bullied does not discriminate against any of those. Anyone, through any background, any race, religion, color, gender, orientation can be bullied. And there are ways that we can stop that. And if we can put a stop to that and find a way to make it not happen again, or have preventative measures for some sort of discipline or some sort of a therapy, something, it can be done. If we stand up for each other and not be a dick to one another, and that goes for kids. Stand up for each other. As a preteen or a teen, stand up for each other. As an adult, stand up for each other. If you see someone being bullied, talk to a trusted adult, someone of authority. They need to know bad things when they happen so they can help. Don't resort to violence if you see someone being bullied, because that just ends up bad for everyone involved. Try to be kind to the person that's being bullied. Sit down with them somewhere, talk to them, help them out at school, and let them know that they're not alone. Not saying anything about this could potentially make it worse for everyone involved. Let's just say, for lack of a better term, that I'm going after, say I'm being a bully toward a Cone Dodger. Say I'm being a bully to him, Cone Dodger 240. You can find him at youtube.com/Cone Dodger 240. Say we met up in real life, and I was just berating him. Just, you're ugly this, you're ugly that, your car sucks, just tearing him a new one. And I did this on a persistent basis. Let's just say I did that. If he doesn't do anything, if his friends don't do anything, then I haven't been taught a lesson. That means me as the bully can be like, you know what? Pfft, this little punk ass ain't going to do anything. I can just keep doing it all day long. And eventually we'll probably drive Cone Dodger insane, and he may do something drastic to end said pain. Might be finding a way to end the hurt. I'm not going to say what those are, but I'm pretty sure we're all thinking it. But let's say I'm berating Cone Dodger, and Kurt comes by. Kurt J. Mack. YouTube.com/Kurt J. Mack. Let's say he comes by and sees that I'm doing this, and goes up to Cone and says, hey, don't worry, I'm here for you. You're not alone. I want to be here for you. I'm going to stand up to him. And they do. And say, since this is, say if I was meeting up physically, the police could show up at my door, and I could be arrested. There we go. Now I know what I don't need to do anymore, because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to berate this person anymore. I need to be a nicer motherfucker, basically, at that point in this scenario. Cone's not alone anymore. Kurt knows. He's been through it. Cone's not alone. They stood up to me, being the bully, in some form or fashion. They did something. And upon doing something, they showed me that I was doing wrong, And I got in trouble for it. Again, one big scenario. Okay, just to throw that out there. This did not happen. I don't know these people in real life. It'd be cool to play a game with them, but I don't know these people in real life. And one, I would never do that because these two cats are really fucking cool. Peace. You've heard me talk about Kurt many times before. Cone's almost on that same level. Regardless, that was a scenario. If there's a way that we could all get involved in our community to find out when and where bullying happens, like at school or at a workplace. Talk to the superiors involved at whatever location that you're at. We need to do something. It makes me feel sad. I'm not going to say depressed, because being depressed and having depression is an illness, regardless if you say it is or not. I have seen it firsthand. I know that it is. Argue with me all day if you want. Fuck off. I'm sad about the current state of at least the kids in school being bullied. Let me take a drink real quick. It sucks that kids don't feel that they are safe at school from a bully. It sucks that they may be called a rat, or a teacher's pet, or a pussy, or a faggot, or whatever name you want to call a child for telling on someone that they were being mean, that they were being a bully. No one should have to go through that. If there was a way I could help, I would. I so would. I'm trying to look on their website to see if they have a donation, something that I could donate to them, to have some money sent to them, to say, hey, you guys got a great website. You guys are out there helping. Hell, apparently October is Bullying Prevention Month. Did not know that. Bullying Prevention Awareness Month. If we can do something about it, let's do something. On their website, I'm going to read this, and then we're going to go ahead and close. We're going to end the podcast for right now, because I'm feeling like shit at the moment. Emotionally, feels like shit. Or feeling like shit. Because, again, of what I've done. And I don't feel good about it. But on their website, the very front page, toward the bottom, there's a section that says, Get help now. Bullying can affect you in many ways. You may lose sleep or feel sick. You may want to skip school. You may even be thinking about suicide. If you're feeling hopeless or helpless, or know someone that is, please call the Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK or 8255. I don't wish for anyone to go through what I've gone through. I don't wish for anyone to be on the receiving end of getting bullied. And I don't want to wish anyone to be the bully. I've been on both sides of it. To me, both of them feel like shit. In all actuality, The title of this podcast is called Feelings and Bullies. And rightly so, because they go hand in hand. At this point, I don't know what else to say. I will say that if Adam is listening, and I think after today I'm going to try to see if I can locate him. But Adam, if you're listening and happen to stumble on my channel, I'm sorry. We were young and dumb. And I decided to take frustrations out on you. And that was not right of me. Anyway, thank you all for listening, watching this particular podcast. Again, it's been a real long one, almost double, triple than what I've normally done. But it's a topic that needed to be discussed, and I needed to get some things off my chest. And I think we've made progress here today. I think so. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching. My name is Xavier Penguin, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.